Welcome to another episode of Thought That Get Results. I'm Reverend Weber Herbert, and as per usual, we are here every Tuesday evening with something that at least we think is of community interest and or of some concern. And if you think that you have something which fits into that category, you'd like to find out who can be a part of the program, why don't you drop us a line? Address it to the Let's Talk program in care of Vaughan Radio, P.O. Box 195 Charlestown in Nevis. Or give us a call. Our numbers are 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. By the way, those will be the numbers you'll use to be a part of this evening's discussion. Again, thank you very much for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. With regard to your participation in the show, we encourage you to call in on the numbers listed, 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. Here's a suggestion. You have a question or a comment, perhaps you can get a pencil, piece of paper, write it down, so that when you're getting on the show, you're well organized, so that we can take as little time as you can, so that we can accommodate as many of you as we can. We ask only, first of all, you respect yourselves, and then respect others, because we will not accept anything we deem not within our broadcast standards. Again, thank you all very much for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. Also, we are asking you and encouraging you to follow us with our live video stream on our Facebook page. Like us on Facebook, and you can follow this program live. Also, you can go to YouTube, type in Vaughan Radio, and subscribe to us, and you can follow this stream live. Thank you all again for joining us. Tonight, as promised, following the 2017 Nevis Island Assembly election, when the Concerned Citizens Movement increased their majority over the lone opposition party in Nevis, the Nevis Reformation Party, there has been continuous chatter that there was in need of a new party on Nevis, thus making it a third party. Well, that has been talked about before and following various elections, but nothing had come to fruition. But tonight, I've got a panel with us who have assured us days ago that come the next Nevis Island Assembly election, their group or organization will be governing the island of Nevis. Tonight with us, I'm going to allow the members here to introduce themselves, tell you who they are, the name of the party, and then we are going to have a discussion with them. I've got some questions that some of you in the listening audience have already put to me that you'd like to ask of them. And then, perhaps in the last 15 minutes, we'll be here for an hour. In the last 15 minutes or so, we'll give you an opportunity to call and make a comment. Maybe you can congratulate the new party. Maybe you can tell them what your opinion is, and maybe you can ask a question, making a comment. As I indicated, we ask only you be respectful, and they have been here to engage them. I take this opportunity to thank them very much for choosing Vaughan Radio, the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, for making this historic debut. Let's go to the panel, and I'll allow them to choose who goes first. Good evening.
Good evening, Weber. It's a pleasure to be here at Vaughan Radio once more. It's a pleasure to speak to the country, and it's indeed we are here. We're grateful to be here. We're grateful to at least make our attempt to make a difference in the country. My name again is Glendale Herbert. I'm joined here by Andy Lai.
I'm Andy Lyberg.
And I'm Patterson Fleming.
I was, for those of you who don't know who I am, I was born here in Nevis. Went to the Miss Cross, not Miss Cross. I went to Teacher Diner preparatory school or primary school, that is, and then went on to boys' school, and then eventually went on to high school. And I was born to Maud Herbert in Cedar Trees, Charlestown, Nevis, and Cyril Wilkes, and my brother who Edmund Atherton, everybody knows, who was, I would say, by most accounts, an illustrious cricketer and captain for Nevis. He literally raised me along with my mother and afforded me great opportunities. I had a front row seat at most people would say relative greatness as it relates to the cricket game. I moved on to the United States to join my family. My family who pretty much started migrating since 1918 from Nevis to outer Brown Hill area. Most of us are all about outer Brown Hill area. And joined my family, went to school there and in the States. I did undergrad and post-bac work, and worked there, got into business, have been in business for 30 years. The mortgage finance business and the real estate business in the United States and here. Did have a business here that ran for around 6.5 years thereabout at Olson Pharmacy. We had around about eight employees thereabout. And we had to move on from that situation because we were having some pending issues there with some business issues we had in the States and needed my attention, and I couldn't be in both places. But in all the years I've been, my presence has never been missed, and I've always been here in the homeland. I would dare say almost 100 times since the time I've left here. So 4 times per year I'm always home. And I'm here and I'm attuned and have been in tune with the critical issues of the day in this country. Now, moving on first, quickly, PDA, which is the People's Democratic Alliance, is a brainchild of numerous persons who came together with different views, but had an overall same agenda as to see Nevis moving forward in a positive way. We looked at, this is about a 3.5-year exercise that's been going on among us in terms of talking about the future and talking about how we can collectively begin to make an impact in this country. What the People Democratic Alliance happens to be is something we're attempting to bring civil government and businesses closer together in this country along with the public. And we have begun to do a number of things over the last 1.5, 2 years thereabout in this country. Real things that are on the ground as it is right now. In the case of myself and a few other members from this group, I am the chairman and president of the Nevis Community Foundation. That has been established around 10 months now with nonprofit status, and we have numerous partners from around the world that we work with. And the idea of the Nevis Community Foundation, we recognize that everything goes to the auspices of government in Nevis. And there needed to be an alternative in Nevis where people can look for a resource. The Nevis Community Foundation happens to be one of the 1,700 foundations that has been built around the world, starting since 1914. And what tends to happen globally, if there is any calamities or catastrophes in any country there is, people, private citizens of wealth or philanthropists, so to speak, never gives to government. What they do is look for foundations that is vetted by what is called CAF, Community Aid Foundations in the international sphere. We are currently up and registering with them currently with the CAFs in the United Kingdom, in the United States and Canada. And we have met the benchmark thus far in terms of our code of conduct and in terms of our bylaws. And once that is done, we have a huge list of beneficiaries here on the ground, that people who would benefit from the foundation largest. It goes as far as aid into educational initiatives and in technology and science, award scholarships into study, aid business development and economic empowerment via grants, aid leadership initiatives and early childhood among young people. Aid the socially vulnerable, the families and the elderlies. It aids employment initiatives for youths and the adults. And it aids health delivery services, and it aids the arts, the sports, and the development, home improvement, and all of the above. What that does, I'll give you an example. Last year, for example, we experienced a horrific hurricane here in our region, in our sister island of Anguilla. It was totally decimated. There's no foundations in Anguilla, but luckily the president of Virgin Islands Foundation, who happens to be a sister foundation, who we do conference calls with regularly, stepped up and afforded them some $14 million for the rebuilding. You know what happened in Haiti some years ago when the Clinton Foundation came forward, and what happened. It's actually a pass-through organization where people lodge funds and they get their tax write-offs in their home country, whether it's in England, Canada, United States. So that's what we're doing. I think it's good work. It's good work. The Virgin Islands Foundation annual endowment fund is around $15 million, and they gift around $3 to $4 million annually. We think we can begin to get somewhere close in that region over the next couple of years. But so we're trying to move where everybody, when people have issues in the country, they look to government. Most of us who grew up in the 70s, remember the days when we used to have the Peace Corps and the VSOs who come here from England and the United States. People like Miss Brody, Miss Smith, B-Man is still around here. And they will send these technical aid and the sort of stuff and teachers, what have you, to aid the country. Once you get to independence, most of these, all of these people were pulled out. And they were a vacuum in terms of supporting the country. And that is why the foundations came about. Foundations came about, and they saw the need in terms of plugging that need from a private sector standpoint. So we have a number of associates, lots in the expat community and beyond, partners who are working along with us. Recently, we've just made a major petition, wrote a major letter with some of our partners in the United States to petition one of the biggest investors in this country, the biggest investor in this country, actually, and to petition him to be to support the foundation. I guess if most people who are thinking would understand who that may be. Second to that, what we also have been doing, we have developed, members of our organization, the Alliance, has developed what is called a medical facility here in Nevis. It is currently up and going, and it's a first-rate medical facility where it attracts some of the greatest, not some of the greatest, but every area, every discipline in medicine here. They actually fly in the specialists here to do treatment or operations, what have you. And it's bringing 21st century medicine to Nevis. This is actually happening right now on the ground, and this has been going on for maybe about 10 months. The community foundation that we formed is about 10 months old currently, and has met the global standards. Now, the medical facility, which is physically at the Social Security building, which Mr. Liebert will speak more about, is something that we're working on, and we're looking at a wholesome package in terms of beginning to address the Nevian issues. And in addition to that, I would let Mr. Liebert, but I think the intention within the next year or so, sometime in 2019, is to build a 16-room hospital here in the country. Moving on fastly, another thing that we would institute, and we began to map out how to execute this. We have a huge crime problem in the country, and we believe we can address the huge crime problem by creating a Big Brother program throughout the schools in Nevis. The schools in Nevis, we will intercede with the schools and communicate with the schools in Nevis to point out to us these at-risk kids, boys in particular. Boys, exclusively boys. And we believe that we can create a Big Brother program where we go into all these schools, and I would adopt a school, for example, Mr. Patterson, Andy would adopt a school, and many of our affiliates would adopt schools, like St. Thomas's, St. James, have you. And the idea is to identify these kids, become an intermediary to these kids, become a sounding board to these kids. They can call us at any time. We can help them with conflict resolution issues, show them a path that is different, show them a path how to get themselves in industry, show them an alternative way, and begin to work along with them, and at some point have meetings with them, and what do you call that thing, when you go away and you have sessions with the entire group. But we want to cultivate that, and this is a program that is very dear to most of us, and this is something that we are going to be working on, a Big Brother program here. So all of this is happening under the Alliance as we currently speak. This has not been fully rolled out yet, but it will be. And one last thing that I really need to discuss quickly before I yield to Mr. Liebert is it's the, give me 1 second. There is something that is very important that I wanted to mention to you. Yes, I'll yield to Mr. Leiber for the time being. Go ahead.
Good evening, radio listeners, friends, and family, home and abroad. I'm Andy Liebert. I was born right here in Nevis, and I went to school here at Teacher Diner, and then I moved to Mudcross. After that, I went to Charlestown Boys School for a year or two, and then I moved to Prospect Primary. From the Prospect Primary, I went into the Charleston Secondary School, and then I spent all my years in Nevis. I started working in National Bank. I gave them 15 years service, and during that 15 years, while in National Bank, I started my own business. And I am in business for almost 40 years. Successful business. I have contributed to this community in a vast way. I have been engaged in all the sports in Nevis you can think about. A very good athlete in school, and I have continued that part. I decided to stay in Nevis to help with the development of this country, because all my brothers and sisters and all my schoolmates were traveling. I decided I would stay. I'm here today, and I'm looking at serving you at a different capacity. We in the PDA has been doing some work. I think Mr. Herbert did touch on a couple of it. The work is ongoing. We intend to provide the necessary services that Nevisians have been robbed of for all these years. And we decide today that we are going to work to bring these services to Nevisians. And that includes healthcare, aids, assistance, training, academic, just name it, we are going to provide it. We've been working on this structure. Mr. Herbert said 3 years, but as far as I know, it's over 4 years that we have been doing this work, and we have been going and coming, getting groups together, sitting with people, talking about different areas that we can serve our community, and we have been able, over the past year, to roll out a number of things. I am happy to present that to you tonight, but at this point, we are going to give you more in-depth of what the PDA stands for. I'll take you back to Mr. Herbert.
When I lost my train of thought there for a minute, I wanted to mention that one of the things we want to institute, and we've been studying for a while with some of our partners, is to create what is called the People's Power. And the People's Power Foundation, basically, they've been in consult with the credit unions. And what that is to create a capitalization fund wherein Nevisians can invest in invest in the People's Power Fund, and that money is held in escrow at the credit unions. We do not control that. So any person, credit unions, the idea behind credit unions is they need more members. It's a member-driven operation, and they understand that. And we're driving to bring members to the credit union as investors in People's Power. And the idea is to somehow amass this amount of money. And this amount of money, as in simple terms, is money that the country can use and the people can use to invest in projects that are revenue generating, so they can get something back from it, whether it's a bridge, whether it's the second phase of geothermal, if they need to raise $12 million, $1,000 from every citizen, if 10,000 people or whatever the case is, they can raise the money and they can get dividends from it. We will explore that a little bit deeper for you, what we're doing, but this is something we've been talking about, and this is something we've been discussing with them. And preliminary, we have an entire breakout of it, which we will present to you in short, really. We're waiting some of our affiliates who will be in here in December after December 15th to finalize and tightening up on that, the capitalization fund. So I just needed to get that across here. So what we're doing is a holistic approach to governance, a holistic approach in terms of transforming people's lives and impacting your lives, the people, and engaging you to be wealth earners, engaging you in every facet of your life that we can possibly impact. As there is some other matters that we're very interested in, and I really want to let this out. This is two things we want to put out there. We, as it relates to the politics of the day, we are, first of all, we are an alliance, an umbrella that seeks to bring everybody under the umbrella and seeks to move forward a movement with everybody on the umbrella, and so we can touch every life. It's not about money necessarily. You have to have money, or you have to have whatever. If you have skills, if you have thoughts, it doesn't matter. You can be a part of the alliance, because the alliance intends to affect your lives and to make a difference in your lives. That is the concept behind this. As far as our politics is concerned, the way we look at it, as our present construct, as it relates to the St. Nevis question, it is our opinion. It is our opinion that there need to be government separation. And I'll put that out clear. It is our opinion. And how we see that is in the guise of the EU concept, the European Union concept. It is something that has been tried, and it has worked for 28 countries in Europe. They came together for 3 reasons: to form a political, economic, and social union, and it's called the EU. They have a flag, they have a passport, a European passport, and it's free travel, and you can work anywhere among those countries. Now, each of those countries in that 28-country union, they do have their own passport, whether it's Britain, France, Germany, it doesn't matter. They have their own individual passport in addition to the European passport. They do have their own flag. But the concept, what drives the EU, and how they pay for this entire operation is through the VAT collection and through the custom duty collection. We believe that's the way forward, because it takes away all the angst, all the angst between St. Kitts and Nevis, politicians going to St. Kitts and people saying you get 2 salaries and all that, and the politicians in St. Kitts are angry, and the people in St. Kitts are angry at the people in Nevis, and then there's election, and they come over to look for a seat to do a coalition, and it creates all this madness, and then there's all this madness about 2 elections in Nevis. It solves everything. And as we think this has been done, the model is there, and I think it's the way forward. Yes, Nevis would have its own government. Yes, Nevis would have its own affairs, handle its own affairs, but it's a political, social, and economic union that thrives. And I think it's a workable model. We have a federation with a flag already. We have a federation with a passport already. These things can be easily worked through. And I think if we begin to use some ideas and begin to think somewhat out of the box, we can do wonders in this country. You don't have to sit down and just wait for government. You don't have to sit down. We, out of our initiative, can make a difference. Every one of us can make a difference, and we believe in this alliance that we can make this possible for everybody. Andy?
Yes, we can, and we will. It's very positive. Everything that is mentioned to you tonight, I want to let you know that we are not just talking. As we sit here and speak, there are people out there who have volunteered to use their own resources, including finances, to develop these plans for us, travel abroad, get all the information for us, get all the examples, and they have been feeding us with information of how positive these systems work and how it benefits life.
One thing I want to say, I'm just going to bring some things that we find egregious. We find it is egregious in this country that you have 7,000 vehicles in this country. And in the 7,000 vehicles, I would dare say 5,000 of those vehicles are 5 years and older. And you've been charging $5,000 environmental levy, which has been basically thrust upon you, upon the people. And $1,200 in every new vehicle that comes in this country, an environmental level. And every restaurant pays 2% environmental levy. And I think there's something at the airport or something about the environment. We calculate this is not a $50 million the government has collected over the years. And to me, it derides my mind to see there is no environmental policy in this country. There is no solid waste policy in this country for recycling. Plastics are not being recycled or packaged. Whether it's plastics or bottles, if it gets into the landfill, if it gets into to the water, the aquatic, the water, it kills the fishery, which we have to live with, the fish that we have to live on, and the fish life. If we don't have a policy as it relates to, let's say, the mechanics who are collecting oil, who does oil change or brake chains, or TDC for that matter, who does that, they have to find means and spend money to package this stuff to get rid of this. There is no policy in this country, not even an allocation. Let's say $5 million out of this money has been allocated, in my mind, to address these matters. And when TDC or the mechanic has to use his own money to do this, he passes this bill back on to the consumer. So this is just crushing. To my mind, I try to figure out how do you arrive at where we are in terms of thinking. It makes no sense. And I'm saying we are for our better needs, and we are trying to bring people together and bring ideas to the fore. And we want to work with government. We want a partnership with the government. We want a partnership with business. We want to do things to change this country. We come from a history. I'll give you an example, Mr. Liban, and this is magnanimous, and I need to bring this out. One day, Mr. Liban went up to the Charleston Secondary School some years ago, and he went to the sixth form, and the sixth form was hot as hell. The teachers couldn't teach. They had to take 10 minutes break or maybe 15 minutes break. It was just too hot to be in there. And Mr. Liebert looked at the situation, and he took his money, $45,000 out of his pocket, and air conditioned the entire sixth form. This is what we're talking about. People don't know these things. And I'm saying to you, this is about changing lives. This is a holistic approach. This is an approach that we can do things, and the laissez-faire about sitting back just because people don't know will give them the knowledge as to how to get things done and how they can transform their lives. That is the attempt that we're trying to do, and that's why we're partnershiping with so many people. Another egregious thing, Mr. Liebert, that I also want to put on the table quickly, because, before I get off here. The geothermal issue in this country, we've been looking at it. We've had one or two consultants who've been consulting with us on it and researching, as Mr. Liebert says, spending their own money doing it. And there are a few questions we have to ask. We intend to ask for a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding from the government as to the contract between the NIA and the NREI. We will write to the government and ask for it. We want to disclose the MOU, and that it would tell us the terms of the contract. Why we ask that question? 87+% of our resource in this country is proposed to go to the NREI, Nevis Renewable Energy International. We think that is egregious, and 11% is for the people. So the power sharing agreement, whether you sell power to St. Kitts or you sell power to the ordinary citizen, we receive 11% of that 14,000 people. I just can't see that as a good deal. It is our interest to change that. And if there's an issue with it, we intend to go for a judicial review on the matter. Now, we don't know if it's an act of parliament or what have you. From our knowledge and standpoint, it was not. Our point is, the largest resource in this country, 87%, should not go to any foreign entity. And the reason why geothermal has not been commandeered in this country as of now, it has 3 phases. One phase has been done twice on the West Indian Power and the new company. But the second phase is a critical phase, and they have not been able to pull it off. And why it's so critical, it's hard to raise money to do it. Because once you've discovered steam, you have to go down with huge chunks of pipes to can move a huge volume of steam up to drive turbines. And that is the stage where you're not sure if you can get that. And that is the stage the difficulty comes in terms of getting money. So what they sought out to do, from our vantage point, is to get the NREI involved, which is a consortium who was trying to seek money from what is called the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, which is a United States bank that backs foreign investments for the United States companies. But they're not a United States company, so they can't get the money. We intend to use People's Power Investment Capitalization Fund to raise money to do phase 2 in this country. Today, I just got a report out of St. Vincent announcing by December in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they would have already completed phase 2, funded by, I think, the Abu Dhabi Fund, funded by the Clinton Global Initiative, funded by a number of initiatives, phase 2. We think we can own geothermal in this country if we can get our people into the People's Power Investment Program, and they can, for the rest of their lives, receive money, at least some sort of dividends back on the investments. So these, and we have an entire layout on this, entire layout including slides, including the whole number of charts, everything that we intend to bring to you on these matters. But we would not stand by and see the major investment in this country be given away. Not only you're selling power from geothermal, but you're also selling geothermal sludge, which is metallics, from lithium to beryllium to whatever they find down there can be sold to international brokers, and that is where the real money in. We are using the model of Iceland that has turned Iceland in from a number 31 country in Europe to less than 10 country in Europe in terms of its economy. Iceland is $54,000 per annum is the per capita is what Iceland produces in terms of the standard of living. St. Kitts Nevis is 16,000, 17,000 per annum.
This is talk that gets results. Tonight, the People's Democratic Alliance, Glendale Herbert, Andy Liburd, Patterson Fleming, they are executive members. We're getting the overview on the structure and of the alliance of the party. When we come back, we'll hear a little more and then we'll get into the questions. We remind you, as a huge number of you have been doing so far, to log on to our YouTube. You go to YouTube, you click on to Vaughan Radio, type in Vaughan Radio and you click on subscribe. Or you can follow us on your Facebook page and you can see the stream live right here on Vaughan Radio. And of course you can, if you want just the audio, you can continue to listen to us via the internet and of course our transmission. We'll be back right after these.
For a place you can go to and relax and enjoy a healthy meal? Check out Island Life Vegetarian Food and Juice Bar, located at Pinny's Industrial Site below the supply office. They are open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They offer you healthy, delicious, nutritious food on a menu that boasts Ital food, sandwiches, burgers, roti, puddings, and much more. They have a wide variety of freshly squeezed fruit and vegetable juices and smoothies that includes beet, carrot, pumpkin, tamarind, star apple, and sarsaparilla, and much more. Contact them today at 660-5318 or 668-3107. Just arriving at Builders Paradise. Brand new mirror bypass doors. Sizes include 4 feet, 5 feet, and 6 feet. Oh, and don't forget to check out their Saturday yard sale for even better discounts. Builders Paradise, where your island dreams begin.
Island Roofing and Hardware Limited, located next to the Monduk Track on Long Point Road, Nevis, specializes in the manufacture of 24-gauge pre-painted Galvalume roof sheets and the sale of tropical green hat lumber. They offer the traditional corrugated roof design for residential buildings along with the U-panel design for commercial buildings. Their roof sheets measure 42 inches in width and are manufactured on site and can be cut to whatever length you desire, thus eliminating the need for joining your roof sheets. Their aluminum-based roofing sheets, which are available at an affordable price of only $14 per foot, are of the highest quality. Their opening hours are Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. For more information, call 664-2441 or 664-2959. Island Roofing and Hardware Limited, meeting your complete roofing needs by providing quality products at affordable prices.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
Back on this episode of Thought That Get Results, the People's Democratic Alliance Party, the new party launched on Nevis tonight, right here on the Eastern Caribbean Spa House. Andy Liburd, Glendale Herbert, Patterson Fleming, they are executive members of that party. We promised that we're going to be having them here for an hour or so. What we're going to do now, there are a couple of things, Mr. Liburd, that I want to go through, unless you have something else you want to add at this point. You wanted to add something else at this point? Okay, go right ahead.
Good evening again, radio listeners. I just want to give you a highlight of the work that we have been doing as the People Democratic Alliance over the past 4 years. We have been talking to Nivijans, and I really would like to give you some of the feedback that we are getting from them and why the PDA was born. It's a social interest group, as you heard, of Nivijans who believe that the outcry of the people of this, our fine country, must be addressed. We humbly seek to answer those calls. Today will be remembered as a new day for all the people of our beloved country. Over the past 4 years, we met with a number of Nivijans, especially those who have constantly refused to honor their constitutional right to vote in election. We try to get answers because the turnout in election is becoming less and less each time we have an election. And this has caused great concern to us. To get a sense of the approval or disapproval of the way in which the country is heading, we meet with people and we ask some questions. What we find, there are 5 types of people living in this country. 1, they are NRP. 2, CCM. 3, conservative. 4, disgruntled. And 5, those who just cannot be bothered. But we also find there is a 6th group. That group of people is who we normally refer to as expats. They too have voiced their opinion. The answers we are getting, very alarming, but not surprising. People are fed up and think the country is heading in the wrong direction. Those who stay at home and do not exercise their right to vote feel that they are treated like second-class citizens in their own country. They believe our leaders lack foresight, lack proper planning, has no empathy, lost touch with the people. They believe our leaders are very disrespectful and high-handed. They feel that their freedom of expression and democracy is in serious danger. Our leaders are disrespectful, especially to our ladies, and has total disregard for the rule of law. They continue, they are greedy. Some put it very simple, they're just dishonest, and they are fed up. One thing that is noted, political party loyalists, in most part, are saying the same thing the others are saying, But it must be noted that in their quest to hold on to their respective political party often suggests that we passed on our plan of action to their political parties and leaders. Also, loyalists who have break with their political party do not wish to support other political party, citing supporters' interference, and both parties have the same common agenda. That gives us a clear answer to the low turnout on election day. All these reasons, we believe that there is a real problem and we cannot sit idly by and watch our people suffer. That created the birth of the PDA, the People Democratic Alliance. The cries of the people are consistent, and they strongly believe that their political leaders are saying to them, and this is their word, take that. Today, we have set up a legally registered not-for-profit alliance that will extend the hand of friendship and trust to work with our people to address the issues that are plaguing all of us. The People Democratic Alliance have provided the platform for the people of Nevis to work together in unity to build a strong economy, develop its resources together with honesty, transparency, and to preserve our country history and historical site, create a clean and green environment, improve and offer to our citizens the best affordable health care system, improve education, create recreation, especially for the elderly, promote local entrepreneurship, reduce taxes while building a strong economy through development of our country resources, agriculture and tourism. And I will dare say that earlier it is alluded that we in the People's Democratic Alliance have already started some of this work. We have in Nevis, at this point, a healthcare facility which is located in the Social Security building. This facility was set up by a number of concerned citizens in Nevis with some of our finest doctors. The facility is up and running. Already it has some of the finest and most modern equipment in it. And we intend to take it to the second stage. In that facility, you can go and see a doctor and get diagnosed. Early diagnostics save life. And I had one lady I could recall who talked to me about her feelings, and I suggested to her that she should go and see the doctor there. She didn't. She went to another doctor. I spoke to her again, and she didn't, because she said that people told her that the facility was too expensive. But she was not getting any relief, and she went off to St. Kitts to see a doctor. Still didn't get any relief. She came back, had another discussion with me, and I pointed her in that direction. The doctor, having seen her, was able to identify her problem instantly, referred her to another doctor, and she was able to get her operation. And she came back to me and she said to me, you know, I must tell you that when you talked to me about the facility, I did not go because I was told that it's too expensive. But when I went and see the doctor, he did not charge me one dime. He referred me right away to another doctor who diagnosed my problem, and I had surgery immediately. She is recuperating, and she would continue to recuperate, and she continued every time she met me to thank me for that. And this is what we are bringing to our people in Nevis. I'm sorry, I have seen too many people die who should be alive today because we are not providing proper health care. And most of the time, when people do get diagnosed, it's too late. And our insurance do not want to pay for you to get treatment abroad. The problem is, once you travel abroad, the insurance say they're not paying. So we recognize that is a real problem for Nivijan, especially those who do not have the money to travel abroad. We sit down and we decide how we can fix this problem is to get the doctors, get the doctors to you. And that's why the healthcare center was established. I must dare say that I traveled to the United States twice last year, early this year in August, and I sat with a number of doctors and businessmen in a meeting for 3 days. And we have plans approved to build a 16-room private hospital right here in Nevis, where the doctors would come and they will take care of your medical needs. And this is the kind of thing that we are offering to Nivijans. We are not in government, but these are the things that we are offering to Nivijans. And we are putting our own hard monies into these things. We also have friends who are presently in Europe, traveling the world, collecting information, and drawing up plans for us as to how to govern, and govern with the people. There are countries in the world that have done this. We will report back to you with the hard facts. And all of the countries that have done this include their people in governance, in the business, have been very successful countries, and the people have been very wealthy people. These are the things we want to do, especially with the geothermal in Nevis. We believe that every Nivijan should have a stake in the geothermal. We look at the Greenland model. The Iceland model, sorry. And the Iceland model is fascinating. We had 2 companies already formed in Nevis to deal with geothermal. And they have led us to believe that all we are going to be getting from the geothermal is cheaper electricity, and we'll be able to sell it. But they're not telling us the real story. The real story is geothermal and electricity is one thing. But in extracting the geothermal, there would be a lot of byproducts coming up out of the earth that they're pulling it from. And these byproducts, I think Mr. Herbert alluded to them earlier, but they are stuff that we can gather and sell to industrialized countries, and that would bring us billions of dollars in revenue annually. We were not told that. So 12.5% of that.
11.
No, it's 87.5. 12.5% for Nivijans and 87.5% for the NREI. I don't know what 12.5% can do to Nivijans. But I know in Iceland, the Iceland government developed its geothermal with the people of Iceland, for the people of Iceland. And any one of you can go out and research Iceland today. Iceland have one of the strongest economy in the world from the geothermal. Their people are filthy rich.
Well,
and they have zero crime.
One last thing. We have the opportunity in this country to have access to one of the biggest investor in this country. And the biggest investor happens to be Bill Gates. And we know where he came from. Geothermal energy, they like to associate with geothermal energy in terms of what you call data centers. And they normally use geothermal energy to build data centers on. Whether you go to Costa Rica, Iceland, wherever, that's what they do. And again, it is important because people want to be associated with green energy. It is important that we understand the byproducts in terms of money, capital from this. It is a big deal. A data center is a big deal.
Glendale Herbert, Andy Liebert, Patterson Fleming. They are members of the People's Democratic Alliance, and this is the launch, the introduction to the people of Nevis, to our listening audience. As I indicated, we promised an hour. We're close on that. We're going to take some extra time. And gentlemen, I would imagine that I know you have a full slate. You still got a lot of information, but I would imagine that the people who are listening, you can perhaps guide them to where they can, hear you from time to time, giving updates and so on and so forth. But before we get to all that, I just want to get to cover a couple of things and then allow, as promised, a few persons to call in and perhaps make a comment or ask a question. So let me ask first, and the few questions I'm going to ask together came from myself and persons who, when we announced that you will be here, some persons quickly sent in ideas or questions. So I put everything together and then formulated them. The first question I have, one person perhaps asked whether or not you can persuade them against the backdrop that there has been several attempts of a third party on Nevis, which never came to fruition. Can you persuade the listening audience that you will not fall into that category, but you will go further?
Very much. So that is the very reason why we are not a political party, but we are what you call a democratic alliance. We will be working with the people, for the people. This country will be run with consultation with the people, and everything we do would be with the people. And we want the people to understand that we are not here looking for a salary. We are here because we recognize that you have been suffering for a number of years. We decided not just to get into politics, but to develop a plan, look at different models that is out there and successful country. And that is what we are presenting to you. And we want you to, if you're not sure and you still have further questions, you can call us and you can come and talk to us. And we can run you through some of the things that we are doing, how we plan to execute it. And we can assure you that we are not a political party that would left you out of the way. Everything we do would be in consultation with you. And everything we are saying to you tonight, we have been having consultation with Nevisians.
I think when we say we are not a party, I think the word party means that you're part of. And that's where the origin of the word is. And we don't see ourselves as a party, as separating from anybody. We are umbrella. We're trying to bring everybody on the side. No, that's a colloquial way of saying it, or that's the normal way of saying things. But we try to push that off, and we're an alliance. We are trying to create alliance with people in every sector.
So to be clear, you are not suggesting that you are not a political party, meaning that you're not participating in politics. You're participating in the political process, But you do not want to be labeled as a party.
Yes, because
a
this is not
political party.
right. This is not political season for us. We don't see this as a political season. I think we're sick and tired of the idea that every day in this country is politics.
Okay, so we
You know,
got that.
we
clear.
don't want. When this season comes, we deal with that.
And as I
Right
indicated,
now, exactly.
as I indicated, you did suggest to me, with great confidence, that come the next election, constitutionally due by 2022, you are confident that your party or your alliance
Correct.
will be at the helm of governance in Nevis.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
You have indicated earlier, with great confidence and clarity, that you have been organizing for, I think Mr. Libert said, as much as 4 years.
That's right.
And it seems very impressive, I must say. Will you be contesting the federal elections constitutionally due by 2020?
Yes, we would be contesting all the elections in Nevis.
Are you in a position at the moment to name your candidates? Because there's a view that we may well have a snap election.
We don't wish to name any candidates at this point. We are still in the building phase, but I can tell you we are prepared for any battle.
Which suggests that whilst you're not in a position or prepared to name them at this particular time, you do have candidates ready to go.
That's correct. And we will be bringing the candidates and the whole team to you in the near future. As we say, we are still waiting on information. We are still waiting to get our whole pack together, get everything down, packed and downloaded, because we want Nivijans to understand that we are not playing politics with them. That we are talking about governance, we are talking about helping people, and we are talking about developing up a country. Because our young people must be able to go in this country and enjoy it.
The members here are executive members of the alliance.
That's right.
Any of the members will be candidates?
We don't want to give any information on that at this point.
You've outlined a number of issues and you've stated some positions on some of them, most of them that you have outlined. What, in your view, at this particular point in time, is the single most important issue that is, for you in the country?
Boy, we have a plethora of them. I think the economy.
The economy.
The economy is, and guiding the economy is the biggest issue in crime. The economy and crime. That is why we speak towards the Big Brother program. There's no boys mentorship program. There's no boy, and we want to put real focus on that.
And that was one.
Right.
And that was one of the solutions you have to the ongoing crime problem. Problem in
Correct.
Are you
and the economic package, which
are you aligned or affiliated with any political party on St. Kitts?
No, we are not.
Zero interest at this point.
No interest at all.
Are you? There's another question I have. Are you splinters of any political party in Nevis?
No, we are not. We are not splinters of any political party. And let me correct that, because when we talk to the people, the only authority to talk to the people in Nevis is us. We are developing up a plan for the people of Nevis. We will talk to you. So don't listen to anybody who is telling you who we are when they never even talk to us. We have been working. We know what we have been doing. We know who we have been talking to. And we are going to be talking to all of the Nivijans in Nevis in the near future. We have had a success story of building from scratch. And we recognize that Nevis has fallen flat. We intend to pick it up and build it from scratch, but we're going to do it with the people of Nevis.
Okay, let me just remind our listeners that you can log on to our YouTube. You go to YouTube and you click Von Radio and then click subscribe to watch this stream live and videotape. And you can also get us on your Facebook page. I did promise we'll take some calls. Good evening, thank you. Good evening, thank you for holding. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Herbert.
Yes,
Yeah, good
yes,
evening,
go,
Mr. Herbert.
yes, go right ahead, please.
And good evening to your panel. Glendale, you indicated that you're not political. Your party is not politically motivated. But what are you then doing? Are you running a business? You advertising a business or what? Glendale.
Well, I don't understand advertising a business. The point what I'm making to you is this: we are creating what is a movement in this country. What we're attempting to do is to bring people together.
Yes, but
hold on. Hello, excuse
Okay.
me, please. What we're attempting to do is to bring people together and change lives and advance an agenda where people can buy in and people can do things outside of government. If the people wants to point to the Alliance and what it has been doing day in, day out for 365 days of the year in Nevis, and they want to point to us and say, guys, we want you to be involved in the political process. We believe we can make contributions outside of elected politics, yes. And we ought to be doing that, not just wait until an election comes and say, okay, I put a tag on.
But you're preparing
PPP.
for the election.
Well, we're preparing for the eventuality because we are about Nevis.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening. I would like to ask you pardon that question, please.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, what? I think you're coming a little late, you know. You should have come in the NRP been around. It sounds good, you know, but in the politics is a funny thing. So you should have come in a little earlier when time been around. You can try, but you have failed for the first time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, the other question that I have here, how would you deal with the tone and the rhetoric? What will be the tone and the rhetoric of your party, right? Because, you know, a lot of folks argue that the rhetoric is poisoning, the tone is, you know, viral. So let me take this. Good evening, thank you for holding.
Weber advertise.
Good evening, you're on the air.
Weber advertise.
Good evening, you're on the air.
Oh, you can't hear me.
You got to... Okay. Glendale, the question was, what is how would you describe your rhetoric and your tone?
We have no interest in attacking either party. We have no interest in going low with anybody. We are speaking to people and enhancing people's lives and trying to address their lives and all the maladies and all the shortcomings in their lives. We are trying to address them and show them means by which they can address these matters in this country.
Good evening, thank you for holding.
Good evening. Weber advertise that we're launching a new political party, but they're saying it's not a political party.
Caller, we are not, I don't know whether
Weber
you're...
advertise.
Yeah, do this for me. Could you put the phone close to your mouth and because it's difficult hearing you. So let's try that again. Okay. Callers, you want to, when you get in, first of all, as I said, perhaps you can try and organize your question and everything. And then, when you speak clearly to the telephone and loudly if you can. Okay. Yes, Glendale.
Yes, we're not interested in getting involved in that back and forth and tearing each other down. I mean, it's not to us. That's not impressive.
How, Mr. Liveard, how would you describe your outlook or your objective? Is it different in your view to other two established parties?
Very different to all of the parties in the Federation. We recognize that our people need education, and we are willing to educate them. They need help. We are not going to allow the one or two descendants to to deter us, because we have a plan to work with all of the people of Nevis, and those who are positive and who are suffering and looking for a change and need a change, they will be receiving our message, because our message is on target. We are not prepared to be going down that road that the other political party has been going. That is not our interest, and we are very sorry.
You describe that for the past 4 years, and certainly of late, you've been talking to Nevisians from across the spectrum. How would you describe the support that you've gotten so far? And do you think that it is numbers that can translate into a victory at the polls the next time around? Let me take these calls first. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Yeah, I think we need to get off the idea of politics. This is a breath of fresh air for Nevis. The idea of people consultation is a word that you used quite a bit just now. Consulting with the people, not debating. Consulting, discussing with people what their needs are, finding solutions, getting people involved in their own, developing their own destiny is something that is badly needed. And I think that we're spending too much time on seeing whether or not this is a political party. I think maybe the announcement this morning is throwing people off. But I see deeper underneath this particular group, an alliance.
Caller, let me see if I can follow you. You think that we should not mention the word political party?
No, not that mentioned. I said even not mention political party. It was mentioned in the morning in the ad that was coming on. But right now, there's a lot of focus, and a lot of your questions has been focused on whether or not the rhetoric and other things in pertaining to, in light of a political party. To me, I get the impression that the real focus of the group is to consolidate the community in seeing that they can develop their own destiny and find ways that they can do this by working and consulting together. The politics is an aside. If they need to get involved, this is what I see. If they need to get involved in politics, then they'll put somebody out there to represent themselves. But that's not the focus. The focus is to consolidate the community, and they can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. All right, I got you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for holding. Okay, please call back. Callers, we're asking you, because we don't have a lot of time, we're asking you, as I had indicated, to formulate your question or comment. Take as little time as possible. Be as forceful as you can, but we'll try to accommodate as many of you as we can. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening. What are the positions that the members there hold?
Okay. The positions that the members hold. What's your position in the party, Mr. Liebert?
We are a legally registered entity.
I think they meant whether you are the president of the organization or something like that.
I don't think that is important right now.
You don't have that.
I know what position I hold in the organization that we are in. I do believe that people are trying to go down a road that we don't intend to go at this point, and we are not going to follow that.
So, in essence, you do not wish to disclose publicly what positions the members hold in the organization?
No.
Okay. Please call now 469-1616 or 1700 to get on to Mr. Liebert, Mr. Herbert, or Mr. Fleming is also here. And by the way, in the second segment of the program, we'll have some quick analysis by the heavyweights who are standing by. Mr. Herbert?
Quickly, I wonder, you asked the question, what is a political chance in terms of at the polls, if we were at the polls?
Right.
What we saw from 2011 to 2018 is a diminishing numbers, severe diminishing numbers in terms of voter interest in this country coming to the polls. We're all the way down to 58% showing up at the polls, 40+% staying home, and I'm sure some of those 58% who showed up was literally dragged.
So you think
so
you've got the numbers?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening. Could we hear from Mr. Fleming, please?
You've got a question for him? Okay, they wanted to hear from you.
Good evening. I am very much a part of the Alliance. The reason for me to be a part of the Alliance is, the main thing is because of the love that I am getting from the organization. The true sense of the whole organization is about people of Nevis. And the way they've been hurting, and no one been looking out for their interests. I see the Alliance bringing that to the forum and bringing a great sense of love and care for the people of Nevis. And that's what I've been hungry for, and that's what I've been looking for. I mean, look at the graduation that just went by a week on Wednesday. So many children graduated, still on the street looking jobs. So many credits, so many passes, and still cannot find jobs for these young people. We are saying, and what the Alliance is saying, they are about the people of Nevis and searching and making a better life for the Nevisian young people and the whole. And I'm solely looking at that, and I'm saying that is what I've been looking for. The Big Brother program that I am in searching, I've been crying for. I've been crying for that. The Big Brother program. I mean, I live in St. James's. I live in St. James's, and I've been asking over the years, when we gonna get a group to come and talk to these young men who sit on the block, who sit on the sidewalk? When we gonna reach out to them before they start doing criminal activities in this country? Are we gonna wait? And no, we are waiting too late. And that's why the Alliance is here today. And the Alliance is here today to bridge that gap, to make a difference. The Big Brother program, going into the schools, get them before they reach out, get them together, create them, bring them as friends. That's what I'm looking forward to. So, yes, I am 100% behind the Alliance, and I'm looking forward to some of the great programs that are going to be rolling out very, very soon.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Hi, good night. See, the team name something about Lion, some Lion thing, right? Whoever the name Lion something, that's an Lion.
Yes, Mr. Urban.
Yes, we one of the things, two other things that rides us heavily is immigration. We believe we need to have an immigration policy in this country, and we've been saying it for the longest in terms of averting crime. And we're not scared to say it. You can't have a country without borders. And those who are here, we are welcoming them here, who are law-abiding and making a good life here. We want to protect their interests, and we want to protect the Nevisian people interests who are here also. So because the more folks who come here or unruly or do not abide by the tenets of the country or the laws of the country, it makes it bad for them who came here as immigrants, and also us who are here as belongers, so to speak. My point to you, we need to, this whole electioneering and running after, and whatever, the foreign voter, not the foreign vote, but people from around the region or whatever the case is a problem. Because we don't even know who is in the country, for starters. We need to begin to police who is in the country, and we stand for it. We're not equivocating, because again, we are protecting those people's interests who live in this country, who came from abroad and are contributing citizens to this country and have enjoyed a good life standard of living. By having all these folks come into this country, it's only diminishing their standard of living.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening. Do you have a plan for crime? Strategy for crime?
Well, it's all packaging, of course, like I just mentioned, the immigration policy, but of course the Big Brother program is a big deal for us, because each of us adopting a school, and when we adopt a school, we adopt those at-risk kids, and those at-risk kids are single mother parents or kid, and those kids we can relate to 2 o'clock in the morning.
But you have a detailed plan. You have a detailed plan.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for holding. Good evening. Thank you for holding. Good evening, you're on the air. Okay, caller, could you please call back? And we ask you to be patient with us when you call. We're trying to get you in. You just mentioned about the
crime
and the other overseas voters and so on. One of the things that is big in politics, and one of my
let me correct, please, before we get ahead of ourselves. I don't mean the overseas voters who are Nigerians. I meant those who we try to attract to come and vote here, who are here, who are not even legal here in the country. That needs to stop.
Okay. One of the big issues in politics, and one of my political advisors normally talked about, one of the major things in politics is financing. He would say you need about $2-3 million to run. And then people are always concerned who's financing these parties, because these might, be the people who control them. So after we take these calls, I would like you to address that. Good evening. Thank you for holding. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, good evening. I heard, I dialed in a bit late, but I heard that they were talking about a plan for a private hospital. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that, if they can elaborate on the plans for that facility, and probably share some information on funding as well as the timeline for completion as well, if possible.
Okay. All right, thank you. You see, the problem we're going to have, Glendale, is this, that we don't have the time to get into everything. And perhaps maybe a little later on you can tell the people how you will be, contacting them or updating them, in the future and so on and so forth. Let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Hello, good evening. Well, I was thinking that the guys then would have come with a proper plan for politics, seeing that you are announced with a political party, but I just want them to concentrate on the positive things that are going on in Nevis, and to develop more positive things for the people. Because as far as I been gathering tonight, they are just like centers of a political party.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's Glendale. What? Yes, go ahead.
I'll just address that briefly. We are not splinters of any political party. Everybody in Nevis is a splinter of some party, if that's how you look at it. Every party grew out of a party, and people move. If you know the history of Nevis politics, some may have moved. I may have supported one party a year ago, and I moved 10 years ago, and some move. It all depends. But the point is, this is where we are currently in this country. Forget the party business. Party can only separate us. Part is a part of a whole. We don't want to be assigned that. We are an alliance, a collage, trying to bring the people together.
Okay, and on financing? Financing, Mr. Liebert, because people are always concerned. And you would hear people, for instance, accusing different parties of being funded by, A or X or Y, and then being controlled.
Webo, we come to the people of Nevis with a plan. And as we explain, that we are not into the politicking. And so there isn't anybody who is financing us to control us. Nobody would control us. We understand what it is to build things from scratch, and that is what we are doing. You would have those descendants from the facts, and I think all those people who are trying to say what they think we are, they have not been listening to our message. They have one thing in their mind. They are supporters of some political party, and they have an interest. And so they would call in to defend that political party. We are not fighting for a place in politics.
But you'd agree, Mr. Leiber, though, if you're a public organization representing the public, financing is a fair question.
Financing is a fair question, and this is how we expect to get financing. The people who like our ideas, right, will invest in what we are doing. And you're not going to control anything. We have a structure for everything, and investors no one investor is going to control anything we are doing.
As it is, everything that we've done is out of most of our pockets.
On the economy,
as it stands.
On the economy, do you have any particular entity, investments in your planning that can perhaps, move the economy and stimulate the economy of Nevis?
Yes, Webo. Again, we're looking at the way government is structured right now. Government try to govern and run business. We feel that government responsibility is to collect taxes. And the businesses should be owned by private people. Government should run them. What we are going to be doing with Nivijans is to ask them to invest into some of these government-run business, which should be privatized, and they would be run like private business. That government would collect taxes.
Okay. That is why we have the investment fund that we're creating with the People's Power.
What we will do now, because
to make people empower people,
I'm way over budget, so I'm going to give each person half a minute to wrap up, and then I'm going to give you an open invitation to always come back and speak with us and speak with the public. Who's going to begin?
Webo, sorry. We are here as an organization to change life, to bring people together. We are appealing to all the civil-minded, thinking Nivijans, those who are willing to work, invest, and get return from the investment. Not those who are willing to sit around and look at political parties and see what they can get from them. We are saying to the people of Nevis, you can live happy, and you can live from your own sweat and tears. And so if you come to be a part of the alliance, which a number of people have bought into it, those who are open and willing to listen, they have bought into the idea. And we are still going to be selling that idea to the people of Nevis. We understand that there are some people who are going to think negative, and they're going to stay out there and probably miss the boat. But there are those who are going to catch the boat because they recognize that there is something for them. And we're offering them, if they need further explanation and understanding of what we are doing, they can come and talk to us.
Okay, Mr. Fleming.
Good evening again. Like I said, we welcome everyone in Nevis to the Alliance. The Alliance is there for all Nevision. It's a breath of fresh air for Nevision. Young people who are out there with a sense of not sure where they're going, the Alliance is here to help you. And so do the elderly as well. We are here to help you. It's about helping all Nevision. Make a better life for all Nevision. We are not any political party and we are not about the colors. We are not about the colors. We are about Nevision. About Nevision, you have a contribution to make, we are here to support you. We are here to support you. We are not here about the colors, about the blue, the green, or whoever. We are about Nevis and Nevision. All of us are one, and all of us should be better off in our country. I'm again saying to you, you're welcome to chat with us, and we're very happy to have you a part of us, because everybody is welcome under that umbrella.
And in your own case, as you stated earlier, the Alliance gave you love.
A lot of love. A lot of love. And that's what we need. That's what we need. And like we mentioned earlier, the Big Brother program, trust me, is going to work well to decrease crime in this country. Every one of us want to go to our bed and go to our homes, feel comfortable and feel free at night, and even during the day.
And finally, Mr. Herbert.
Well, we are faced with a myriad of foreclosures in this country. The economic pie has been shrinking in this country. We see what's happening in the politics in this country. The last election we had in terms of turnout. The people are not inspired. The people are sitting on their hands and need more. We are offering them more. We are trying to tug them out and make them a part of the process. And this is the beginning of creating friendship and a collegial attitude and a partnership with the people. We are trying to do. We will be back, and we will be reporting to you, the public, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. But that is being worked out on Von Radio. We will be here. You will be hearing from us on all of our programs. We will be bringing in all of our partners to speak to you. Our foreign partners, our local partners, to speak to you on all of these issues and the progress, and you can question us on the progress of these and be a part of this the Alliance umbrella. Our number to get in contact with this Alliance is 667-4226, 667-4226. If you want to fall under the umbrella and want to get involved in doing anything within the myriad of things that we are attempting to move forward, call us.
And the final question will come from one of the first questions, because almost everybody who asks me to ask you a question asks this in full or in part. Will you last?
Yes, that's a test. But I am convinced that, in fact, put it this way, we have spoke to enough people in Nevis to know that we would be an effective alliance and a force to reckon with. We are empowering people.
Andy Lyburn, Glendale Herbert, Patterson Fleming, members of the People's Democratic Alliance on Nevis. We thank you once again for giving us the opportunity to launch your your alliance right here in the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, and the Let's Talk program taught that get results. Thank you once again, and you're always welcome to come here and speak with us. We wish you all the best. When we come back with our remaining minutes, we'll have immediate analysis. The heavyweights will be in.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the power.
Island Roofing and Hardware Limited, located next to the Monduk Track on Long Point Road, Nevis, specializes in the manufacture of 24-gauge pre-painted Galvalume roof sheets and the sale of tropical green hat lumber. They offer the traditional corrugated roof design for residential buildings along with the U-panel design for commercial buildings. Their roof sheets measure 42 inches in width and are manufactured on site and can be cut to whatever length you desire, thus eliminating the need for joining your roof sheets. Their aluminum-based roofing sheets, which are available at an affordable price of only $14 per foot, are of the highest quality. Their opening hours are Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. For more information, call 664-2441 or 664-2959. Island Roofing and Hardware Limited, meeting your complete roofing needs by providing quality products at affordable prices.
Just arriving at Builders Paradise. Brand new mirror bypass doors. Sizes include 4 feet, 5 feet, and 6 feet. Oh, and don't forget to check out their Saturday yard sale for even better discounts. Builders Paradise, where your island dreams begin. Looking for a place you can go to and relax and enjoy a healthy meal? Check out Island Life Vegetarian Food and Juice Bar, located at Pinny's Industrial Site below the supply office. They are open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They offer you healthy, delicious, nutritious food on a menu that boasts Ital food, sandwiches, burgers, roti, puddings, and much more. They have a wide variety of freshly squeezed fruit and vegetable juices and smoothies that includes beet, carrot, pumpkin, tamarind, star apple, and sarsaparilla, and much more. Contact them today at 660-5318 or 668-3107.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Back on this episode of Talk That Get Results, the first segment of the program. We just debuted the newest and third political party on Nevis, the Nevis People's Democratic Alliance. The members who represented that alliance: Andy Liburd, Glendale Herbert, Patterson Fleming. With our remaining minutes, we'll get immediate analysis of this new organization, who have pledged that come the next local election on Nevis, the Nevis Island Assembly elections constitutionally due by 2022, they will be at the helm of government. I ask whether or not they will be ready to contest the next federal elections constitutionally due by 2020. The answer was a resounding yes. And now, Edric W. Stanley, good evening.
Good evening, Webo, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Good evening to the people of St. Kitts, and more particularly, our gracious people of Nevis.
We don't have a lot of time, but why are you smiling so much?
Well, when you meet people who seemingly are courageous, you still have to bring it to the fore. They are courageous.
Okay, well, let me
just put it this way. I would like to defer the rest of it to the other panelists, and to say I'm glad that I attended the National Insurance Health Program.
Okay, Mr. Brand, good evening.
Good evening, Webo, and a very pleasant good evening to my colleagues around the table. I sat and I listened keenly, and I, in fact, took some notes. I want to say to my friends, Webo, all of these folks who were here earlier are my friends. Andy Liburd, a good friend of mine. Glendale, of course, he would have been here on this program with us in the past. Good friend. Patterson, very good friend of mine. We played together in the Nevis Symphonic Band. So all of these gentlemen, Webo, are friends of mine. Webo, I believe that as an island and as a nation, our constitution provides individuals to band themselves together in these kind of organization or entity. So I want to say to them, welcome to what I would call, they have dubbed themselves the People Democratic Alliance, and it just adds another voice, in my opinion, Webo, to the discussion, and I'm certainly looking forward to continue to hear what their intent are as it regards to the ideas and the upward and onward mobility of Nevis. So I'm keenly listening. I'm looking forward to hear more from them.
Dr. Patricia Bartlett, good evening.
Good evening, Webo. Good evening to the entire listening audience and indeed the viewing audience. Yes, I listened myself. I'm still a little bit confused as to exactly what it is. At one point it is a political party, next time it isn't. The guys, you're going to have to make up your mind, and you have to do it fast. I like the concept. I like the idea to want to include people, because I've always been asking for that. I kind of like the model that they're trying to focus on. But at some point, you're going to have to decide what your color going to be if you're going to get into politics. You know, you can't be dilly and dallying. Tonight was your first, opportunity. You're not going to get a second opportunity to make a first impression. And that is just my thing. I've been asking for us to have an economic council. It seemed like we have one in the alliance, So maybe if they could align themselves with CCM, we might have a better country. I don't know. But you're going to have to work up your mind.
We're going to come
back
to you.
Whether to be a political party or not.
We're going to come back to you. Conrad Naya-Liburd, good evening.
Good evening, Webo. It's a pleasure to be here again. As I listened to the new political initiative, I think it's a good thing going forward. As Mr. Ban said, add to the debates, and hopefully, they can bring ideas which, was never thought of, that would bring solution to our many problems, Webo. So I'm welcoming them to the political platform, and I hope they would be there and not just, temporarily, as we so often experience with a third party here in Nevis. But, you know, I just like to congratulate all of them for that initiative, and of course they would have my admiration going forward. Let's hope that.
Ted Hobson, good evening.
Well, good night, good evening, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I don't want to waste too much time with except to say that I found the discussions among the alliances very interesting. And, well, we will have to see how it develops, but I agree with my friend Patricia that I wasn't quite clear what they are. At one stage, they seem to be a community kind of organization. Another stage, they seem to be a political party. They have to make up their mind what they are. But in fact, they said they were contesting the elections. So I suppose they have to be politicians of some sort. So we'll see how that develops, Webo.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of syntax, because as you rightly said, Ted, that they will be contesting the election. I asked specifically if they're going to be ready to field, you know, candidates by the next federal election. And I even indicated that I even heard it will be a snap election. They said they will be ready. They said they will be governing by the end of the next local election. So it is obvious. So I don't know whether I myself want to spend a lot of time with, you know, and determining if it's a party or not. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I coined a light moment when we were discussing it, and they were basically mentioning that. So it says, so in other words, you want to play cricket, but you don't want to be called a cricketer.
Yeah, you're right, Webo. You're right, Webo.
So, you know, but it is clear, you know, in my view, that they intend to govern, but perhaps maybe they're thinking that there's a stigma with a political party, so they don't want to be labeled with that. Okay, but Ted, let me go back to you, because you have an awesome amount of experience when it comes to politics, and whether, you know, two-party system, 3, 4, and the possibility and probability of it. What do you think?
Well, in the Caribbean, the two-party system has fortunately, unfortunately, he seemed to be here to stay. I mean, every third party that has come forward has not lasted for any length of time. You have the same thing in, for instance, United States of America. You have the Democrats and the Republicans, and people have tried to introduce third parties, never took root. Same thing in England. You have the Labour Party, you have the Conservative Party, and you have the Liberals, but you know they've never been able to govern. But there are people who would support them. I don't know whether they are going to last the distance if they don't get the kind of support that they expect. I am accustomed to parties saying that in the next election they are going to be victorious and all of that. Every candidate I have met who venture into politics, in their mind they feel that they are going to win. Otherwise they wouldn't go in anyway. I myself have run for politics a couple of times. Each time I was convinced that I couldn't be beaten. But you know, so I admire their confidence in themselves and so forth. One of the things I didn't hear, I didn't listen to all of it, was were they ever asked whether they consider themselves a breakaway party from the NRP?
Well,
because all of them were very strong NRP people.
I asked a question, but not specifically NRP. I asked a question whether or not there were splinters of any political party, and they said no.
Okay.
But there's one good thing, Webo, I must say, they started off...
Now could you get closer to the microphone?
There's one good thing, Webo, I should say, that they started off on a good foot. By a good leg by using Vaughan Radio to
yes,
the public. So,
yeah. But I got to tell you that the initial figures and what I've been checking so far, the numbers, they hit the scale, they hit the roof. I mean, the numbers coming in, we got the indication that a lot of people are going to be listening, and the evidence shows that. So they have a huge audience.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you that watching the early numbers are 6 times what it normally is. So
you should bring them back more often.
Well, I'll do that. But you did hear Mr. Glendale at the end did say also they will be having their own, program right here, whether it's weekly, monthly, or whatever, here to inform the people. And so we offer them, and we're in discussions with that. Now, one of the questions that I asked, I'm going to come to Mr. Brand. Mr. Brand, did they engage you? Did you know of them, Mr.? I heard the Honorable Premier this morning in his press conference in welcoming them.
We are a small community, Rebel, and things like this can't really stay secret for too long. You've heard the rumblings here and there, you've heard persons' names being called and so on and so forth. So, the chatter has been around, and I believe at some point we expected that, based on the kind of rumblings that we were hearing, we were expecting that something like this would have come to the fore. So, like I said, we welcome them, Rebel. Rebel, that's one or two things that I was mentioned during the discussion that you had with these two gentlemen. And one of it was that they indicated that the country was headed in the wrong direction. I would have hoped that even though that they would have indicated that the country is headed in the wrong direction, that they could have given some indication as to where they hope to take the country. If you are going to tell me that my car is driving over the cliff, you need to tell me what I need to do to prevent my car from going over the cliff. So I thought that was an area where they could have expound a bit more as to the direction in which they speak about the direction in which the country is headed. So that was one. There's a few more, but I'm going to give my colleagues some.
But then it's two politicians might ask, so why would I give them my ideas so that they stay a little longer?
Well,
you can't keep. You need to educate the people, and to give the people an idea why they should support you.
But that will be your answer, Ted. If I have some great ideas to get the country moving, and I'm your opposition, and I give you those ideas, you implement them, will I get you in your position? But they made an interesting point. They said that they're in the process of building a private hospital. That's interesting. They said that they've been doing a number of things. That's interesting. But it's going to be important to hear them going forward. Now, I asked a question coming to the end, specifically with Edric in mind. Because and when I said that one of my political advisors always informed me that one of the pillars that is necessary for entrance into politics is what?
Money.
Money. So I asked them about that.
And it's going to take, roughly, for them to make an impact, $25 million.
You just pull these numbers from.
Where you get that from?
But to be fair, Edric has experience. He's been in it. How many times you ran?
At least here. How much did he spend?
You ask the question and let me answer. That money must be spent on the grassroots, not now, but for over the long haul, with reference to sending people to institutions of higher learning, sending people to Value Mart, sending people to learn a trade, and over that long haul, that's where these numbers come from. It's not on election day. And on election day, you still have to be able to cough up. So as
for what? For what do you have to cough up on election day?
Transportation.
Transportation. Mm-hmm.
Food. People who would be able to help you.
And cash to vote.
That's not.
Well,
that's not. Much money.
That's what you are saying, Ted, but I'm saying to you, in order to make an impact here, you have to begin to look at those numbers.
But the point is,
and if you don't, you are doomed to failure.
But in answer to the question, they said, in reference to finance, they're all right.
I'm not going to doubt them.
And they further said that the financiers of their organization will not control them.
I don't agree with that, because who pays the piper calls the tune. So, although I came in with the position not to make any real comments at this juncture.
But you have to, because you are the what must I put it? You're the authority in determining the likelihood of a political party succeeding.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to.
That is no mistake about that.
You have to have
what you say can, give a person a good idea as to who will succeed and who will fail. Not correct, Ted?
Yeah.
You have to have impact, and what's going to give you impact is money. And like I've said, as I threw out those numbers, everybody became alarmed. But I've given you more or less a timeline through which that money would be spent, or by which the money would be spent, and areas. Because once you are attempting to aspire to those kinds of positions, people are going to come knocking because they want, and they want to see what you are made of. And you cannot change our society overnight, and you cannot operate in a vacuum. And in that regard, you have to have economic firepower.
A pivotal question that I asked them, and Mr. Brand, you said that you've been hearing, the place is small, and so you've been hearing some chatter here and there and so on. So you had some little background, correct?
Yeah, well, like I said,
Okay. Now, so one of the what I consider very important questions that I asked them for the candidates, and they didn't disclose those, but they said that they said that they have the candidates. But to be fair, a lot of times political parties do not disclose their candidates. They wait until a big launch.
True. Yeah, that's true. But they've started on a good note. I mean, they have got free publicity tonight. You said that the response from the audience has been terrific.
Yes.
And they didn't, as far as I know, they haven't paid for anything. So they've started on a good note without spending the kind of 25 million that Stanley speak about. So it's not always money. It's a kind of impact that you could make, and the kind of strategy you could use.
And going forward, once they continue to use us, they get great impact for little money. No, when they have
inexpensive.
Yes, relatively inexpensive. That's what I'm saying. When they do get their own program, it's next to nothing for the kind of audience that they'll reach. Yeah. Mr. Brand knows that. Edric knows that.
Yes, but where the rubber meets the road, like we just had graduation at Charleston Secondary, they would have seen the top students, and they want to create impact. Where are you going once you have left school? Okay, here is a scholarship. And dish out scholarships to maybe 6 students, fully paid.
So that would be your advice to them?
That would create immediate impact, recognition, and association, and alliance. So I'm saying to you, money talks. And anybody who doesn't believe it, let them attempt to put themselves up. Somebody has to pay.
It is
the political party carries a lot of the financial weight or impact, as the case might be.
But this is a moot point, because they said they're taken care of. They said they have money. So what is the issue?
That is the point.
But they have to spend it.
They're going to
strategize. But the point is that you're saying that
they intend to.
Well, yes, what I'm saying is, when I came up with these numbers, everybody became alarmed.
Because you had some ridiculous numbers, but then again,
They sound ridiculous to you, but
putting that aside, maybe they have more than 25 million.
well, you are saying that ridiculous numbers, but you put your foot in the ring and expect to see exactly. You'll find out exactly how it is if nobody decides to finance your campaign.
Yeah, but part of the strategy is to spend less and do more.
Right.
In America, I mean, they was talking. Trump was saying, "Well, I've only spent 90 million, and they have spent 500 million." You know, and I'm reaching further.
Right.
So part of the strategy. But you know, Webo, I believe this
Well,
idea.
Trump been spending long before.
That Stanley always come up with this big whole heap of money to go forward in politics. It's misleading, really, and it suppresses a lot of initiative.
You think it is misleading?
And groups want to go forward. Listening to Stanley,
I don't
nobody
think
would
they
ever
listen to him,
move.
but you know,
Nobody
not on
would
that.
ever move.
Because no one thinks that you have 25 million.
It's not true. It's not real. I run politics before, and I get more votes than Stanley, and I didn't spend.
You didn't get.
I didn't spend.
You didn't get more votes than. You're talking about misleading. You're talking about misleading. How many votes you got? How many votes did you get? How many votes you? No. Let's get to the fact. How many votes did you get?
Okay.
I ask you a question.
How about we do this?
How many votes you got now?
How about we do this? How about we
Stay
do
to the
this?
listening audience. How many votes you got?
Yes, let's do some fact checking. Let's do the math. Mr. Stanley, how many votes you got?
39.
Mr. Nair, how many votes you got? In how many elections? No, but come to the mic, Nair. How many votes you got, Nair?
I can't recall.
You can't recall,
But
but you would agree.
That I got the most votes as an independent candidate on this island. So
But
that had to be more than Stanley.
That's not true. But
But-
you know it's not true. That's a blatant lie.
Well, I'm not telling a lie.
That's a blatant lie. You ran in an election and you did not check to see how many votes you got, and you're now suffering from amnesia simply because you don't want to tell the truth and saying people misleading people.
yeah, but okay, but here it is though. Here it is. I don't have the numbers, but Mr. Stanley did get more votes than Nair.
Why didn't he say it? He suffered from amnesia.
But if I tell you I don't recall, what do you want me to do?
That is a good way to always duck the question. Come straight.
If you spend 6 million and I spend 600, you get 39 and I get 15. I mean, come on. You know, it's pointless. But this idea, Webo, must not be consumed by the public all the time.
You don't get it.
This idea of, in order to make a political impact, you have to spend all these millions of dollars. Webo, the atmosphere, the political atmosphere, economic, social atmosphere must be right. And if it's right, if it is right, you know, and to me, there's a big question, do we really need a third party? And if you ask this question in the public, you would have a lot of people saying, yes, we do, because they have seen the opposition, the NRP, weakened, you know, almost faced in, you know, their own demise. And so the people would say yes. So that's what is important. Does the political atmosphere encourage or warranties that there should be another political party? And I think at this point in time I say yes.
The people will say yes, but they perhaps will vote no.
Exactly, the reality. And this fellow is not facing reality. This fellow is sound asleep. Wake up to reality. Wake up.
Would of course, you know, that's a different game. You know, we are talking now whether or not we should encourage a third party. And I say yes, why not?
This thing known as politics within
I'm
our
not saying
society,
you're gonna win.
it is a great game of entertainment. And people would like to see a third and a fourth and a fifth party, because it means that you would have some form of competition and some form of utterances, and in that regard, it becomes entertainment.
Okay, Mr. Brand, what I wanted to ask you in terms of whether, when you said that I asked them the question whether or not they were in a position yet to release or reveal their candidates. They said no. Do you know whether or not you've been hearing any candidates of them?
No, well, what we've been hearing is basically two of the persons who are here. You know, we've been hearing their names calling with this new alliance party movement. But as far as the actual candidates and so on, that for now seems to be a closely guarded secret.
But in your own case, a lot of folks did not know you were running until they launched you.
Well,
right. So it's a strategy, a political strategy.
Yeah.
And then the other point is, you said you just kept hearing two names, but three persons appeared. So which shows that they do have support. And the third person was here, was attached to another political party. Very,
Yeah, one of the other things too, Webo, and I can speak probably from my own personal experience, I think before an individual make that step or that transition, I think oftentimes they would need to make sure that they get certain things in order. I personally came from my own private business. I think some of these individuals may have jobs in certain entities. Who knows? Some might be actually working for government. And I don't think that they would want to release those individual names unless they are sort out themselves properly. So it's quite understandable that they would not release those names at this time.
Well, but we have a very small society. Yeah. And there are a lot of people who are not totally secure financially. And going down the road of politics, the toxicity will burn many of them if they're not fully grounded. And if they don't have the firepower, woe be unto them. There are a lot of people who have some degree of popularity. Some might be astute enough to convert that popularity into an elected position. But there must be a groundswell of support and systems in place to ensure that you can reach to the top.
Okay, I asked them whether or not, taking the current situation in hand, whether or not they think they have the numbers. Now, obviously, you have two political parties right now that contested the last election. When you came on the scene, Edric, it seemed as if you more affected or took votes from a political party. Who or which, if any, or will it be both, you think that this organizational alignment would affect?
It will have to draw from both, and it will draw from both parties. But I would make a prediction right now. Unless they commit themselves to spending that kind of money I've just mentioned, don't expect them to be in 2023. It's 2023? 2022. To be the next governing party. I mean, I didn't really want to say much.
Well,
but Nevis people, you have to understand the culture in which we're in.
But I asked them pivotally as well, whether or not in 2022 they will still be around.
I remember that.
Will they be?
They have, unless they decide to put down an economic, what we call it, earthquake. They can't make that kind of impact.
Mr. Brand,
I tell them so.
Mr. Brand, I know your leader is not shy in giving a view on something. I know he has heard about it, and as a party, what does he think?
He welcomed the challenge, Bebo, and I think that his view is that this new political party would only enhance the democratic process, where you would have different ideas, different views coming to the fore. And at the end of it, we expect that the people will decide. I think that is what our democracy is all about.
If I were him, I would welcome it too.
That's the last word. The Honorable Spencer Brand, Edric W. Stanley, Ted Hobson, Conrad Nye-Liber, Dr. Patricia Bartlett. This program repeats tomorrow at 10 o'clock following the VON News Minute. Join the Honorable Mark Brantley tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for On The Mark. Thank you all again for joining us. This is your voice in the community. Thought that get results. You all have a wonderful evening.
all its advertisers.
With all the power from the top.